What's going on, everyone? Juice Bags here, and welcome back to the channel. Now, when it comes to grinding runes and doing some chill farming and survival for Act 3, there's just no better map than the Royal Gardens here. The Royal Gardens also has the benefit of dropping those little bomber pets, assuming that you're playing on Rifted, like in King difficulty. You're not going to get the best possible top-end stuff, but you can get some very, very impressive little bombers dropping right here in survival mode. Now, as always, as far as the drop rate of runes, the best possible drop chance is going to be where the best possible loot drops. So, mixed mode, survival, rifted, massacre, like in King bonus waves are where it's at. However, sometimes you just don't want all that, and sometimes you just want to chillax it out a little and grind some endless survival. So we are here on a Wave 101 start on the Royal Gardens, and this is a build that I use to kind of chill farm any of the Act 3 runes on the map. Now, to start things off, we are going to use a fused ensnare and a fused electric right here. Now, this build, no runes are required, but having some lower quality runes certainly always helps. Particularly any runes that there's no downside, like the snare, the lightning. There's no downside at all to having those runes. Next up, I usually like to throw in reflect beams. And I know people are going to think that's kind of weird throwing them in first. But one issue with building on the bridge here is reflect beams can be a little tricky to place once you get all your defenses down. So we're going to go with overlapping reflect beams, 1 DU each, and we're going to put 3 of them on each side. We're going to overlap these just to eliminate any of the gaps where the bridge arcs. That way there's no sneaky kobolds that can get through it all. And we're going to just do this on both sides and get our reflectage all down. Next up, we are going to use a couple of spiders. I'm going to try to center the spiders on this electric aura as best as possible, just to free up space. And of course, I tried to center the auras right in the middle of the bridge as well. So 2 spiders right on top of everything. Next up, we're going to switch over to the lovely plasma defense system. And we're going to put 6 of these bad boys on each side. So, 6 right here. And 6 over here. Now, the 160U buff beam is going to be quite sketchy on this one. So you do need to make sure you get all of these placed in as tight as possible. You could, of course, always go with multiple buff beams. However, since we're spamming so many towers here, it's usually just easier to use an unruined buff beam and just go ahead and cram all your defenses together in as tight as you can. So once we get our buff beam down over here, you see we are very, very close, but we will be able to get them all. Then we'll go ahead and wrap it all up with more reflect beam action on the side. And then that's going to leave us 6 DU left. Now, you do have a little extra DU on this one. Lots of different things you could do. One kind of obvious choice would be to throw a ranged... Let's see. Let's just go ahead and throw it on in. Throw a tree in, or a root in, that has any quality of the root rune. So you're going to get a little bit of stacking slow. You can kind of just squeeze that in wherever you want there. I'm just going to put it, say, like right there. Then with 5 DU left, we're going to come on over to this side of the map. We're going to give a just in case here. So we're going to throw down a gas trap. And then we're going to get into reflect beams. So let's go with, a reflect beam like that. And a reflect beam, say, like that. Now, of course, we are taking advantage of the speedy and the striking gemstones. I'm playing on a summoner and not playing actively with pets, even though damaging pets are just such a go-to on a summoner. If you're really wanting to semi-AFK and chillax it out, if you play on Overlord mode on your summoner, then you're not going to get targeted by Siren, and you're not going to have Dark Elf Warriors getting all over you and your stacks of towers. So we want to go ahead and just spam upgrades in. Let's get them all in all the way up. I'm going to start off at this end here and just spam those upgrades. Looks like we're down to the CC. And then we'll come over to this end and do the same thing. Just spamming it up. The PDS we want to get upgraded. And then, you know, obviously the buff beam we want to get fully upped as well. Another thing that's important is the range increase on the Roots of Purity. It gains quite a bit of range. So you definitely want to make sure you're getting that upgraded as well. So let's just go ahead and head on down. The reason I put the spiders in the middle is it gives you kind of a nice, kind of even place to stand that's in the center of the map that allows you to target the entire stack with your buffs. So let's just go ahead and continue to spam the rest of this in here. We still got, some spiders, a few other different upgrades in. Now, another thing when you're in Overlord mode here is you're not going to be soaking up that ogre aggro. Lots of people know about building on the bridge. Sometimes an ogre will throw a kobold at you from down here, and it will hit the bridge itself. Well, when it hits the bridge itself, of course, it detonates and then blows up all your stuff. So by playing in Overlord mode, you are eliminating that issue as well. To be honest with you, on this map, you could probably use the little bombers and still have quite a lot of success. However, you don't have to worry about things, and you can go into full chill mode if you just play in Overlord. So let's go ahead and let it fly here, Wave 101. And as usual, we're just going to sit here and boost it out. So we've got our striking gemstone on those auras. So we've got ridiculous sized ensnare and electric auras. Additionally, we're tower boosting those electric auras, so they are getting quite a bit of value out of the massive range. They're just giving you really, really good damage output. So the PDS is there to take care of any of the heavier mobs, and then of course the spiders are there for that crowd control and a little bit of a damage buff. And besides that, it's just all electric aura. This particular map is centered in a way where the electric aura can cover pretty much every lane and really just give you a ton of value. So just going to sit here and boost it out. Once again, this is another one that you can push up quite high. You can get this particular map easily into the wave 200 range, just semi-chill mode on Lightning King difficulty, just by adding in a few heat cannons as well. You will get to a point where if any ogres come out of the side lanes, it could spell disaster for you. So you can put a heat cannon, go with two less PDS, and then throw a heat cannon at the end of each one of these buff beams, pointing over towards that top and bottom core there, and that will handle any of those ogre issues that come rolling in. But this is a very, very good Netflix and chill build for rune farming. And then, like I said, every 5 waves, you're going to be getting that little bomber. So getting a big pool of fused little bomber drops is certainly not going to hurt anyone's feelings. So you get a secondary place to farm on this map. So we're just going to sit here and chillax it out. As I mentioned in the previous videos, always start on wave 26. Don't start on wave 23 if you're doing a Netflix and chill build, as that will allow you to get the mana to get everything upgraded much, much faster. But there is the Royal Gardens, wave 101 Lightning King difficulty, and a pretty good alternative to some chillaxing rune farming if you are in the market to hit the heavy grind with some runes. But that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton for watching, and I will see you next time around. Take it easy.